Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Bob14435, and welcome to the final episode of the Amber Mines DinoTracker website review. It's probably not the final episode, as they might continue to update it later down the line, but this is the final review of the initial release and first update to the website. The focus of my video is to go through all the behind-the-scenes lore and secrets, specifically including the hidden documents, island information, as well as the Atrociraptor and Sinoceratops species field guides. I also wanted to thank Thai for giving me and Badger the chance to go over this information. We start off with the important locations that are labeled on the globe, marked by these red location icons. We have Isla Nublar, Isla Sorna, Lockwood Manor, Malta, and the Biosyn Sanctuary. A lot of these locations have important documents hidden within the text that display really interesting background information, secrets, and Easter eggs, and we will go over each document as we go over each location's information. We start off with Isla Nublar, the home of Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. The picture for Isla Nublar is taken right out of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. You can even see the dock from the movie in the background and the smoking tip of Mount Sibo. The Nublar information page is just a grim reminder of how the dinosaurs and parks were destroyed by the volcano, and how all that remains are the dinosaurs on the mainland. The document for Isla Nublar, labeled Dennis Nedry Doc, is very interesting, and basically goes over all of the before and after events of Biosyn hiring Nedry to sabotage Jurassic Park. It goes over basic information about Nedry, his full name, hometown, and the date he got intercepted by Biosyn. It also goes over what I think is Nedry's first contact with Dachshund, the person way back when in the original Jurassic Park. Nedry felt unappreciated by Hammond, and he felt he wasn't being paid for the work he was doing, and immediately ratted him to Biosyn without any hesitation. It also mentions Biosyn has always been monitoring Isla Nublar, which isn't really surprising. Additional information is provided by the bottom of the page, and says how Dennis Nedry went missing and never made the exchange. Also mentions how the blank's location is currently unknown, obviously the cryocam. One last thing to point out, the logo at the top of the page is a reference to Jurassic Park Trespasser. This redacted logo is the original logo for Biosyn Genetics that was seen on the side of a crashed helicopter. This is an amazing Easter egg, and I regret not seeing it myself. Next up, we have Isla Sorna, the factory floor for Jurassic Park. I'm not sure what the image is from, but I think it's from The Lost World. I like how the bottom corner says image courtesy of Biosyn, implying how intertwined they are to the companies and the islands, which we'll get to in a bit. I love how it gives background information on the island and says how it was leased to InGen in 1982. I have a feeling this is a reference to something I just can't remember off the top of my head. The island is overseen by the Costa Rican government in close partnership with third-party companies to safely contain and monitor any remaining dinosaurs that may still be present there. I personally love this detail as it mentions that the island wasn't empty like everyone thought. I know the DPG said the island was abandoned, but I think they were talking about the people, not the dinosaurs. I also heard that some people thought the dinosaurs on Isla Sorna were wiped out by the DX virus and claimed the DPG was the one that said that, which I looked at that website top to bottom, there was no reference to the DX virus at all. The document, labeled as Isla Sorna email leak, is personally my favorite part of the entire website, and I regret not having the time to go over all of it. Personally, I think I can make an entire video on just this document, but unfortunately there's more information to cover, so I'm only going over the basic highlights. The beginning mentions information about making things disappear, mentions their facility in Redacted, most likely the Sanctuary in Italy, and how their stock has risen because of the research supplied by Project Regenesis. It gives names to specific events like the 1994 cleanup and the 1999 amalgam testing, which are labeled as Project Footprint and Project Regenesis. I'm almost certain this is referencing Jurassic World Regenesis. Seeing as how these are Biosyn documents, or at least are implied to be, I wonder if this means Biosyn was behind a lot of the behind-the-scenes events throughout the franchise. It also talks about the aftermath of dinosaurs on the mainland and their attempts at locating Redacted, which I assume is Henry Wu, as earlier in the document HW is mentioned as a new opportunity. It mentioned something about a boat crew vessel and keeping them quiet about the activity in 2017, which I assume means that the Arcadia and its crew are owned by Biosyn and that they're the ones behind Fallen Kingdom and have been capturing dinosaurs for a long time before the volcano erupted. Before going on a massive rant about the Isla Sorna document, because I really want to go over everything, we're going to skip to Lockwood Manor, which is labeled as the epicenter for dinosaurs reaching mainland America. The document here, labeled Rex Report, is basically the aftermath of what happened directly after the events of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, taking place as an incident report from a security specialist at the zoo the Tyrannosaurus attacked in the movie. It explains how the animal destroyed parts of the zoo, fled into the woods, and destroyed a car. Nothing too much else to say. I have no idea what this incredibly long redacted message says. Moving on to Malta, something I find interesting is that, to me, they're saying that this is the aftermath of Lockwood Manor. I don't see too much of Biosyn's doing, and to me it looks like Biosyn is more interested in keeping the dinosaurs contained rather than selling them to the public via the black market. Especially since they mentioned that the people who set up these black markets are usually found in prison. If Biosyn were behind them, then they would have shut them down a long time ago, though we'll have to see what Dominion says about it. There aren't any documents hidden in the Malta page, which I would say is even more evidence that Biosyn isn't actually behind them, though there is a depressing video that shows a baby Lystrosaurus in a cage and what appears to be the head of a Gallimimus being fried on a grill. Finally, we move on to the last location, the Biosyn HQ in Italy, which has 4 documents hidden in the text. Biosyn was founded in 1977, which is years before InGen even started their genetic testing, and the company has had a few different CEOs since then. The original founder, Bill Steingarten, founded the company in 1977 but left after 1994, I assume because of Dennis Nedry's death and the loss of the cryocan. Jeff Rossiter, who was CEO from 1994 to 2013, 2 years before the events of Jurassic World. I assume he was the main leader behind the 1994 cleanup and the amalgam testing in 1999, and I have a few ideas as to how he might be the reason for a lot of what happened during the events of Jurassic World. Finally, Lewis Dodgson, the current CEO, who is the man from Jurassic Park who hired Dennis Nedry to sabotage the original island. Biosyn also seems to own multiple shell companies, including a pharmaceutical company and a nanotechnology company, which makes me wonder if they're at all related to Manticore. The first of the documents, labeled as Kayla Invoice, details the transfer of multiple dinosaurs to what I assume is the Biosyn Sanctuary. I'm not even going to pretend I know what's going on with these redacted messages. It mentions the delivery of multiple assets, including Compsognathus, Gallimimus, Nozooceratops, and Velociraptor. Mention of Velociraptor always excites me, as it proves that blue is not the last of her kind, a detail mentioned in Fallen Kingdom that made absolutely no sense to me. Although I do wonder where these dinosaurs are coming from. I would assume Sorna, since that's the only area where Velociraptors are that I think Biosyn would know of. And since these raptors have a single female followed by multiple males, I wonder if these raptors are specifically the Jurassic Park 3 raptors. At the same time, I've never heard of Nozooceratops on Sorna. It's possible it could have been there, or maybe they were collected on the mainland and the raptors are those raptors from the Ebers facility in Chile from the Jurassic World Live Tour. Or maybe some of these animals were collected from Sorna while others were from the mainland, although I don't know why they'd be grouped together. It's possible I'm not reading this correctly. Also, a fun little Easter egg, this person was paid in Critecoin. I guess they made a cryptocurrency named after Michael Crichton. The second Biosyn HQ document, labeled Biosyn Email Leak, is a list of names that are apparently possible replacements for previous capture and transportation teams which seem to have quit or died after having run in with an aggressive dinosaur that totaled a transport vehicle. I assume the dinosaur is a ceratopsian, maybe a Nozooceratops or Triceratops. The list was given to them by a redacted name. I assume the name of this person is Al because of the really short first name, as he is mentioned in a later document and even in the archive of the Masrani Global Terminal website, labeled 08-25-2000 Iron Stores. The third document, labeled Unknown Email Leak, is another very interesting one. Not as much information jam-packed to it as Sorna, but it's definitely one of my favorites for one reason: the incident up north. Again, I'm not going to go over all of the information from this document because of time. The beginning of the document seems to talk about some sort of tech that Biosyn is worried will become public, more likely cloning technology, and even mentions a rise in black markets. This to me provides more evidence that Biosyn is not behind the black markets and is even working against them, keeping everyone and everything as private as possible, which seems to be the main problem. The document goes on to talk about the dangers of going in blind, tracking a dinosaur they have little information on, explaining some of the dinosaurs are venomous and have thermal vision. New information is provided to the incident up north and explains that the specific dinosaur involved in the event was an animal thought to be extinct. Since Battle at Big Rock mentions that the dinosaur was a carnivore, we can limit the possible dinosaurs involved in this event to be a carnivorous dinosaur that was thought to have gone extinct on Isla Nublar and Isla Sorna, which as far as I know limits the possible dinosaurs to Metriacanthosaurus and Proceratosaurus. This to me is a little confusing. Neither of these dinosaurs seem to fit the bill. Both of these dinosaurs are relatively small, and personally I don't think they have the ability to cause enough damage to make this event generally popular across the country. You're talking about a dinosaur so dangerous that it caused an international incident that seems to be relatively well known amongst the public. Metriacanthosaurus and Proceratosaurus don't fit that bill. but I don't know what other dinosaur it could have been. Troodon! The final document, labeled Maintenance Tunnel Concerns, seems to be an email sent from a manager working at the Biosyn Sanctuary. Apparently an animal living in the caves has wandered into the maintenance tunnel and has attacked workers underground. Many people have gone missing, and people are refusing to work in the tunnels. Another mention of Al appears in this document, who seems to be running some sort of security division, or at least seems to be the general manager for the facility as a whole. Normally, I would jump at the opportunity of the return of a specific small carnivorous dinosaur, but according to the DinoTracker website and Jurassic World Aftermath, the animal behind this is obviously Dimetrodon, an animal frequently found in tunnels and caves and wandered through the maintenance tunnels of Isla Nublar in Jurassic World Aftermath. Fun fact, it's not a dinosaur, and unlike the Mosa and Pteranodons, it's not even a reptile. Dimetrodon is a synapsid, which is basically a mammal. Moving away from the documents, there are many specific details written in the DinoTracker species field guides that I wanted to go over, specifically the Sinoceratops and Atrociraptor. The Sinoceratops species field guide says that it's a mix of ceratopsian DNA including Pachyrhinosaurus, rather than just Sinoceratops and some random animal's DNA like the other dinosaurs in the franchise. I'm not 100% sure what Universal considers a hybrid, but I know the Ambermind considers this to be one. Technically, all of the dinosaurs in the franchise are hybrids. Their DNA is infused with the DNA of modern-day animals. None of them are true dinosaurs, not even the Troodon, which doesn't even have modern-day animal DNA. Instead, the gaps in the Troodon's genetic code were sealed shut, causing the DNA to shift in size. And while it is 100% pure Troodon DNA, the code still doesn't code for a Troodon. Honestly, it's a miracle the animal came out looking anything like a dinosaur. Might as well come out looking like a cactus. Personally, I consider a hybrid dinosaur to be any dinosaur infused with the DNA of another. I suppose that with it being an amalgamation of just members of the Ceratopsian family, it doesn't make it a hybrid in Universal's eyes, but personally, I wouldn't consider it a Sinoceratops either. The Atrociraptor species field guides mention something similar, but I don't think it's exactly the same. It mentions that some DPW members believe the Atrociraptors are genetically modified Isla Sorna raptors, which is a detailed mention in a plot leak all the way back in 2019, when the movie hadn't even finished filming, and back when they were still called Deinonychus. When they were renamed to a Atrociraptor, I was told that the Isla Sorna raptor backstory was a hoax, but with this new information, I'm starting to consider it again. Honestly, if it's true, I would have preferred it stay Deinonychus. I assume with it being a designer dinosaur, it means whoever bought this dinosaur at the black market specifically requested that this animal be bred with Atrociraptor-like features, like a build-your-own raptor sort of deal. I think the idea that the Atrociraptor in Jurassic World Dominion isn't actually an Atrociraptor really confuses things, although it's far from a new concept. Back in the original Jurassic Park, people were debating whether the Velociraptor was even Velociraptor. As it was called Velociraptor, it was based on Deinonychus, and its size was more akin to that of the newly discovered Utahraptor, although it really wasn't. The Jurassic Park raptors are 5 foot tall at the head, and Utahraptor's 5 foot tall at the hip. If you measure Utahraptor's height at the head, it makes it like 7 to 8 foot tall. Honestly, at this point, I'm questioning whether or not the Pyroraptor is even a Pyroraptor. Every Dromaeosauridae in the franchise seems to be the same dinosaur. I like this website a lot. Sure, there are a few inaccuracies and questionable story elements, but I like the story, I like the sightings, I love the background lore and the hints to something much, much bigger. I honestly hope Jurassic Park reaches the same popularity as other franchises. I would love to see this franchise be as intertwined as Star Wars is, but at the same time, while I do wish Jurassic Park continues after Dominion, another 10-year gap in the movies to polish some story elements and expand the lore could do the franchise some good. Thank you guys for hopping in. I apologize this video took so long to release. For some reason, Thigh kept pushing back my video even though I was the first to finish my recordings, and because of the new update I had to completely redo my script. I'll see you guys next time in the new Prehistoric Kingdom video that should be released, I don't know, sometime this decade?
Hey Ember Miners, thanks for watching today's video. Be sure to click the subscribe button on your way out and click the bell icon to be notified of our videos when we upload them. Consider leaving a like on this video so we know that you enjoyed it. Leave a comment about content that you would like to see come to this channel, and be sure to check the description for links to our Discord if you would like to talk to the team more directly. Check out our Patreon if you would like to help fund the team and its upcoming projects. Remember, this is a fan group reviewing the depths of our favorite franchise, and that we are in no way affiliated with the groups and companies that own them. Be sure to support Universal Studios and Amblin Entertainment. This has been an Ambermind production. Thank you for mining with us.